We feral children, lost and wild. Dad punishes us, each and every child. But we are feral children, we thrive on chaos. Dad may try to punish us, he will never tame us. Hell in the cell, hell in the cell. It's Dad's test of out might. All kids will go in to fight. There is only one survivor. Bring a shiver, a screwdriver. Punishment is kinetic dance. Leotards moving in a trance. It's the feral children's penance, watching camel toes prance. Miami Deb is a whore. We are feral children, lost and wild. Dad punishes us, each and every child. But we are feral children, we thrive on chaos. Dad may try to punish us, he will never tame us. Miami Deb is a fucking whore. Hell in the cell, hell in the cell. Test of out might. All kids will go in to fight. There is only one survivor. Bring a shiver, a screwdriver. Punishment is kinetic dance. Leotards moving in a trance. It's the feral children's penance, watching camel toes prance. Mommy fucking Deb is a goddamn whore. We are feral children, we thrive on chaos. Dad may try to punish us, he will never tame us.
Of course, as you kids know, that is the, oh my goodness, that is the hit song from your sister, Melissa, aka the Big Turd. Big Turd OG, Turd Ferguson. Good morning to everybody. I told you we would be going over the Garth dossier today, and that's what we're going to do. Angela Wilder says, oh my fucking God. I watched the sun come up. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Angela. Jeanette says, our son in Florida is coming up now too, but this song scared the crap out of me. Well, that's what it's made for. It was made by the turd. The bird in the turd is something we need to get working. We need to get going on. So Ernie Birdie, when you join Big Turd, let me know. You guys talked about it. Are we considering this? Doctor on call, good morning. How are you feeling? Sherilyn, good morning. There's a lot going on with the hurricane, right? Hurricane Milton. I would like updates from all you feral Florida kids. Let me know what's going on with that. Are you safe? Are you okay? For those of you who don't know about the Garth Brooks lawsuit.
Okay, let's turn now to the United States.
We're going to look at some Canadian TV to catch you up, and then we will go over the dossier. Check this out.
States where another big name entertainer is being accused of sexual assault. And this time it comes from the world of country music. A lawsuit has been filed against Garth Brooks by one of his former employees. Journalist Steve Futterman is on this story and joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Steve, what do we know about this lawsuit?
Well, Travis, I have to say, first off, this caught many people by surprise. Garth Brooks has had a pretty pristine good guy image historically, but this is a very, very detailed lawsuit filed against him by a former makeup artist who worked for him. We don't have her name. She's described in the this lawsuit as Jane Doe. But in this lawsuit, she details very graphic sexual assaults, rape by Garth Brooks, primarily beginning in 2019. She began working for Brooks in 2017. The assaults, she claims, began in 2019. She had also previously worked for Garth Brooks' wife, Trisha Yearwood. In the lawsuit, she goes into great detail about the specifics of what he did to her. We're not going to go into those, obviously, right now. But at one point, the lawsuit talks about Garth Brooks trying to fight back, and it says that he is very concerned about his image, and it expects him to deny all these charges. They say he's desperate to avoid the public learning about what he has done to what they call a junior employee. So again, these are very graphic details, primarily sexual assault, rape in some cases, battery in other cases, very, very graphic things that she says took place in 2019.
And so, Steve, are we hearing from Garth Brooks? And if so, what are we hearing from Garth Brooks this evening?
Well, nothing specifically today, Travis, but he did file, and we're learning about this today, a lawsuit in Mississippi in September. He was apparently aware that this lawsuit might be coming up. There may have been negotiations, discussions between the lawyers representing the accuser and Garth Brooks, but there was a lawsuit filed by him in Mississippi in September, basically asking that this lawsuit be thrown out. Again, he was anticipating it. So that, I guess, would be sort of a denial, but nothing officially from him today. We should point out that one of the lawyers for the accuser, again, Jane Doe, she's not giving her name right now, is someone who represented Cassie Ventura. She was the main person who brought the early allegations against Sean Combs. So he does have some history involving sexual allegations. In the lawsuit, they ask for monetary compensation, but they do not give any specific amounts.
Okay, more to come on this story. Steve Futterman in Los Angeles for us. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Travis.
Okay, that was a pretty good rundown of the situation. There was one more, but I don't know if it's going to copyright strike me. And it's not on this list. Hold on, let me pull it up for you guys while you say hello to each other. Give me just 1 second. And we will make this shit happen. Hold on, let me take that screen down. And I am going to link these lawsuits below so that you can follow along if you'd like. Whoa. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but a new video just started playing. It was great. So this is the Garth Brooks lawsuit. Where is it? Here we go. This is the USA Today. Yeah, it was USA Today. I don't think they're going to, whoops, copyright strike me. But check this out because this is a little more details in it. And then we're going to get to the docs. And he did do his first wife dirty, no doubt.
Held against Garth Brooks yesterday in California makes multiple serious allegations against the singer. Allegations that Brooks says he is incapable of. A warning, some of the alleged details are graphic and disturbing.
On Thursday, a lawsuit filed against country singer Garth Brooks accuses the 62-year-old of sexual misconduct, including assault and sexual battery. The accuser, referred to as Jane Roe in the document, says she started working as a hairstylist and makeup artist for Brooks back in 2017. The alleged inappropriate behavior started 2 years later when she says she arrived at Brooks' home to style his hair, and he walked out of the shower naked and grabbed her hands and forced them onto his genitals. In a separate incident in 2019, Rose says Brooks raped her in a hotel room in L.A. In a statement obtained by NBC News, Brooks denies the allegations, saying in part, "For the last 2 months, I have been hassled to no end with threats, lies, and tragic tales of what my future would be if I did not write a check for many millions of dollars." Adding, "In my mind, that means I am admitting to behavior I am incapable of, ugly acts no human should ever do to another." Brooks confirmed that he filed an anonymous complaint in September against his accuser, saying, "We filed suit against this person nearly a month ago to speak out against extortion and defamation of character. We filed it anonymously for the sake of families on both sides." Roe's lawyers responding, "His efforts to silence our client through the filing of a preemptive complaint in Mississippi was nothing other than an act of desperation and attempted intimidation." Brooks, a country music superstar, the second best-selling artist of all time in the U.S., now defending himself, saying, "I trust the system, I do not fear the truth, and I am not the man they have painted me to be."
Brooks performed last night at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, where he's had a residency since 2023. He posted this photo from the show on X with the caption, "If there was ever a night that I really needed this, tonight was that night. Thank you for my life," he wrote, guys.
All right, Steph. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m.
God damn, he lost a lot of weight, didn't he? I'll fucking roke her. Okay, guys. So you guys get the idea. That's a basic rundown. Also, hello, Nicole, Bayou Babe, Hakatua, a.k.a. Hakatua Rodriguez, Angela Wilder, Baby Fish Mouth this week being the nation, Ellie B. So good to see you guys. So we can all have our personal opinions about old G, a.k.a. old Garth Brooks. However, he has been a performer for a really long time, and we all know, just like, P. Diddy and anybody else who's been accused, the longer the career and the more fans, the tougher it can be, obviously, for victims who want to speak out. Simultaneously, there have been so many occasions where, celebrities have been extorted and taken advantage of. I don't know if you guys remember the situation with David Letterman and his assistant. And essentially, well, he tried to get ahead of it. He tried to do an Eminem, but basically he had an affair with his wife, with his assistant, and she tried to extort him. And this was a long time ago, and he came out on a show and he talked about it. Put ones in the chat if you remember that. It was really crazy. You remember that, right, Bayou Babe? Um, there's also like other situations where a lot of celebrities will end up in weird positions with their management. We all know that there's these kid stars that end up having to sue their own parents to get their income back. So even their own parents can betray them sometimes. There was a lot of controversy over Brittany Murphy and her husband and her own mother and the situation going on with them, and all of their deaths. Simon Monjack, her mom, herself, the pulmonary issues that were going on. Was it mold in the house, or was she being poisoned and taken advantage of? Like, there's just so many issues where, people will. Dane Cook, another kind of example. Actually, that one has nothing to do with sex. It's more of like his brother robbed him of all of his money, like over years and years. He was supposed to be like helping manage him and stuff. But we've seen a lot of crazy issues where celebrities get extorted by their own family, by their loved ones, by people they were married to or dating at one point in time, and sometimes just total strangers. But then we also see the other side where, celebrities get outed for doing really horrific shit. And not just celebrities, but rich people, big time producers, people that have been hiding behind money, Hollywood, fame, power, things like that for so long. We saw that with Harvey Weinstein. We saw that with Kevin Spacey, even though they both ended up getting off in the long run. That was a fucking horseshit situation. We see that with Trump, dude. He fucking is a literal rapist on paper. Like, he lost. It was proven true in a court of law. And then we see P. Diddy. We're just seeing a lot of really powerful people getting called out, and in a time where there are both people crying wolf and there are people that are legitimately being harmed. And we see sometimes people cry wolf and then people go to prison or jail for a long time. Not even just celebrities. Look what happened to Stephen Avery the first go around. Look at anybody who's been exonerated. Look at West Memphis 3. Look at all these people who go to prison who were innocent. And not just for murder, but for other things. There was a gentleman in Houston who got accused of rape when he was a teen, and he was a black guy. And then the girl, she was like a blonde hair kind of bougie rich girl. She accused him of rape. He went to prison for, what was it, a decade or two? And then she came out and like she got busted lying about it. She came out and admitted that he never did it. She just made it up. So these things happen all the fucking time, right? There are situations where people lie, and there are situations when they don't. And when it's someone in the spotlight or it's a big, well-known case, oh my God, San Antonio for LEP. So glad you brought that up. Met those girls, trying to get one to come on. I had an interview that I did with her a long time ago, and I met them at a live podcasting at South by when we met Ed Snowden and shit on the big monitors and the West Memphis 3 guy. Sweetest girls ever. Totally got lied on. We saw it with Greg Kelly, who we talked about in Georgetown. Like, these are just normal people. This stuff happens all the time. When you are a billionaire or a millionaire, like, oh, I don't know, Vince McMahon. Remember that lawsuit? Remember how that went? He no longer owns WWE. He's kicked out of his own shit. There were text messages. There was evidence in that of communication between them. I think that's probably closer to what we're looking at with Garth's situation. In fact, it very much is on par with the Vince McMahon stuff. Comparably to any other lawsuit, not so much, but to Vince, yes, very much. I believe it's like 27 pages or something, and then there is an early on, not really a counter complaint because I believe Garth put it out first, but there is an issuance of him to try to get all of this quashed at a federal level, like to basically try to keep her from suing him. And she did it anyway. So he didn't get away with that. Like he actually, technically, I guess it was dismissed or it ended up not going through. She was able to file her lawsuit in a court in, I believe it's Tennessee. He also has represented himself. I found a bunch of court records of his where he's represented himself pro se for some smaller lawsuits. One had to do with like a will and estate, another one had to do with like a civil matter, him trying to sue a hospital. Like it's kind of weird how much he either loses when he has a lawyer, I guess you could say the judge dismisses it when he tries to sue someone, or he just represents himself pro se, and then the court ends up like having to work to get representation for another party or to help them fight Garth. And even then he loses. Like he doesn't have a really good history in court. With the few things that he does have available, the few records I have seen. I'm sure there's a ton more. I pretty much only looked at his home state. By the way, Garth's first name is Troyle. Like, I don't know if you guys know that. It's Troyle, as in T Royal. Troyle Garth Brooks. Wow, dude. So anyways, my point is when you have things like, you know, is this person a celebrity? What would be the motive to lie? Is there extortion afoot? Is there proof? Are there receipts? You kind of have to obviously separate the art from the artist when it comes to realizing that these people can commit crimes too. I get it that you like Friends in Low Places, and that's the song you sing every time you're at karaoke when you're fucking wasted, but that doesn't really prevent him from potentially being an actual rapist. Like, just because we like a song, you know, that what was that one? Operator, won't you put me on there? I want to send my love down to Baton Rouge. Hurry up, won't you put her on the line? I want to talk. It's a great fucking song. Doesn't change the fact that he could have potentially done everything that he's accused of. Simultaneously, there have been plenty of attempts of people to make shit up to try to extort celebrities, and it definitely probably, I'm not gonna say definitely probably, that's so stupid. What a dumb thing. I say it all the time. I think, in my opinion, it probably happens more times to them because they have stuff to extort than the average layperson. Like, I have no fucking money. No one's tried to extort me. I hope to one day be successful enough to where people would want to extort me, but like, I'm not extortable. You know what I mean? Garth is super extortable. So the possibility that that could be going on is still there. And in the same way that it's really fucked up to do this kind of shit to someone, should he be guilty, because everything's alleged right now, everything is, you know, pending trial. It's also fucked up to lie and accuse someone and then they get found guilty, or it completely destroys their reputation, their life, their livelihood, their ability to get jobs. Their whole family might completely leave them. Like, this shit has happened before. It's not cool to accuse someone of something that they didn't do for the purpose of extorting them, and it's not cool to do those things to people. They're both they're both pretty horrific. I'm not going to compare one to the other because one's like a financial extortion crime and an accusation, and the other one is something that is extremely life changing and leads to lots of people committing suicide every year, and, you know, decades and decades of horrific PTSD for lots of victims. So like, these are two different things, but they're both bad. So until we know the truth, or until it plays out in court, I'm gonna hold back on making a judgment call on what I think about all of this. However, I will say there is as much there's as much, how do I put this? What we're going to read, the parts that we are going to read today, what is available about this situation, there is as much shocking shit in the court docs, the accusations, that we're going to read as much as the Vince McMahon. So if that was tough to hear, it's on par with that, in my opinion, as far as like, wow, this is a lot and this is really intense and this is horrific if this person did this. Simultaneously, these are the accusations, right? The evidence that's included, I would say, isn't really as comparable to Vince, because in the context of what is being accused and what is actually said, in the evidence and the texts and the stuff that is provided in these documents, it could go either way. Like, it's kind of strange, in my opinion. Like, there's no real, like, in the context that she gives, yes, this goes along with it. This kind of proves it. But also on his side, it's like, if you really look at it and go, well, was he talking about what we're talking about? Because this could also be applied to a relationship, right? This could be taken out of context because it doesn't really look like they're talking about what we think they're talking about, but also it kind of could be. So you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is kind of complicated. The Vince one seemed a little cut and dry because of the amount of obvious evidence. Like, the shit he was saying was horrific. The shit that Garth says, that seems, if it's authentic evidence, like, yeah, some of it's like pretty dirt. I mean, he obviously allegedly supposedly cheated. Like, definitely he did on his first wife, supposedly. Like, and he also married Trisha in 2005, very, very soon after that. By the way, this person who's accusing Garth, we'll get into the backstory in just a second, but she's been with Trisha longer than Garth has been with Trisha. She's been with Trisha 6 years longer than Garth, like, on the road with her, doing her makeup every day. He has had affairs on his first wife. I think he even has a second wife or a girlfriend. Had an affair, like, allegedly. This is old country music lore, and I do remember hearing about this and seeing it on hard copy and shit like that. But he's pretty well known as being like a fucking dog. You know what I mean? Like, on the road. The issue is, since the pandemic, both during and after, he has been on the road quite frequently with Trisha. However, in the complaints, there are also complaints alleging that Trisha was there in the room taking part in some behavior that made the complainant uncomfortable. So we're going to get into all of that. But this is unique in that things can be made to look a certain way without the context that she gives, the complainant. But also, it can favor Garth or go against Garth. It's really just a big picture thing. We're going to look at all of it. We're going to pick it apart. And I'm going to withhold judgment, but I will say things like, if this is true and if not. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this because I do want to be careful with what I'm about to say, but to be fair to both parties and to really examine what is publicly available, I do want to explore the potential arguments, I guess, that the defense could make in favor of Garth, but also against Garth, pro-victim. So I am going to pull a little OSINT in this case, and I'm going to tell you what it is. It's pretty easy to find, but I'm not going to show it to you, mainly to protect the victim's identity. I don't want to infringe on her personal shit. She does go by Jane Roe in court documents. Garth also goes by an alias, but it's pretty fucking obvious who's being talked about. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to say allegedly, even though this has been widely read on every fucking media outlet out there. So yes, it's confusing. Yes, it's complicated, but that's why we're going to look at it today. I do want to go through and yes, it was Jason actually. I want to go through and I want to put some of your comments on the screen, and I'm going to prep another video for you real quick, but let me make sure. Sorry, you guys. I was actually looking at some very interesting stuff in regards to Chris Gaines right before I came on this. I don't know if you guys remember. Here it is. I bet they're going to copyright strike me, but I kind of don't care. Fuck. Sorry. There were two different interviews that were really interesting. One of them was about, oh, this is it. It was Garth's response, which, you know how they make it out to be a response, but it's not really a response. It's just kind of, you know, cleverly worded PR statements. But I do want to play that for you. So let me pop that up real quick. Here we go. And I'll play you the KTLA one while I get these documents in order for you. And we're going to go through this today because they got up early. Here we go. Well, come on, put this in order. Whatever. Fuck it. All right, let's play this. Here we are. Okay. Now this one is, we're not going to do the Perez Hilton one.
Country music superstar Garth Brooks is being accused of rape and sexual assault by a former hair and makeup artist who worked for him. The lawsuit alleges the incidents happened over the course of a year while working for Brooks.
He has denied the accusations, claiming it's all a hush money shakedown. KTLA's Rick Chambers in Hollywood with more. Rick.
Yeah, Micah, Garth Brooks telling People magazine tonight that he's being extorted and defamed. Now, his alleged actions, they say, began in 2019 and lasted, as you mentioned, for about a year.
He is one of country music's biggest superstars, and now he's the focus of a lawsuit claiming sexual battery and assault. A longtime makeup artist and hairstylist for Brooks's wife, Trisha Yearwood, claims that Garth Brooks hired her in 2019 when she was in financial straits and needed extra work. The woman, referred to as Jane Roe in court documents, claims the sexual abuse began soon afterwards at Brooks's Tennessee home. She says that he came at her after a shower and made her touch his penis and would frequently tell her his sexual fantasies. While on a trip to Los Angeles for the Grammys in 2019, she says Brooks raped her in a hotel room. Then, during the ensuing months, he allegedly sent Jane Roe explicit text messages and pressured her to engage in sexting. She says Brooks regularly changed his clothes in front of her and openly talked about sexual subjects and would get angry when she ignored his sexual advances. The suit states that Brooks repeatedly groped Jane Roe and also threatened and intimidated her. In 2020, she stopped working for Garth Brooks, and he allegedly called her and apologized for his actions. But after she hired an attorney in 2021, Brooks allegedly asked to resolve the issues. But then just 3 weeks ago, he filed an abuse claim against her, claiming he is the victim.
Nowadays, we see a lot of that going on, and it's not surprising.
Well, I don't live with that person. I don't know him personally. But I think if there's victims, we should hear them. Everybody deserves a voice.
Garth Brooks is done.
I just want to say I love her. That girl that they interviewed just now, like, she's fucking great. I really like her.
Everybody deserves a voice.
Garth Brooks is denying.
Said that with power. I want to answer this question. I think we can know. I believe, didn't two of the boys do rape kits, like sexual assault kits? I'm not entirely sure, but I think so. But either or, I do think that there are people who have spoken out who need to do depositions, and I think that they need to have it in a different courthouse. But really, I mean, fuck, the LA court, it really isn't gonna matter. It's Michael fucking Jackson. That's a difficult one. I think we can know, but there's nothing that can really be done now, you know? What percentage I have no idea, but I definitely think that false reports are so much lower than the actual amount of women who are raped. You know what I mean? Because there's such a huge amount who don't come forward. So I think that obviously there's going to be, in my opinion, there's going to be a lot more women who are telling the truth, you know? But I think that the handful that are lying, it's the motive behind it that's usually wildly different. It's if it's not money, you know, because someone has money or is a celebrity, it could be for other reasons, or just because some people are psychos. But if you look at the stats for women who commit like violent crimes, it's so much lower than men. And it makes me think that emotional violence and shit that like fucks up people's life, while, you know, we all kind of know there's a couple crazy bitches out there who would do shit like that, the amount who take it to that level to court, see it all the way through, and see someone who they've accused get put away, who they purposefully went out of their way to lie about, so much smaller than the amount that have been, you know, affected by these sort of things. And it's just really crazy. And after we watched this, I did find the video I want to show you. It's the David Letterman thing. If you didn't see it, it is wild to watch back.
The assault accusations, and Jane Roe is demanding a jury trial. And Jane Roe also alleging that Garth Brooks deleted many of the incriminating text messages from her phone. But apparently,
also, this is one of the exact things that all of the people who accused Diddy said. He would take their phone and delete shit. I mean, this is kind of a trend, right? Do I think it's an affair gone bad? I don't know, but from what I've seen of her, I have a couple of thoughts. We'll talk about it in a minute.
text messages from her phone, but apparently not all of them. Hard to say at this point when this case may make it into a courtroom. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you.
Rick, thank you.
Perez Hilton, I'm so thrilled to talk to you tonight.
You know, normally I wouldn't play this, but he's been going off on YouTube. I'm kind of loving it.
Because your website and social media platforms are the go-to sources for celebrity news. We all know this, Perez. This is the top story tonight. And as we've seen, many fans of his are hoping this is not true. I texted somebody tonight and they said, what? No. on my
So, by the way, you're going to see some of the examples in the docs that include some of the texts they have back and forth. And that's what I mean when I say it's complicated, because it kind of can go either way. It can be seen as sexting depending on the context, but it can also be seen as just someone who maybe made out with someone once and then regrets it, but it doesn't seem like that. We'll talk about it.
text. And so in terms of fame and influence, I don't know. Would you say it's safe to say that Garth Brooks is the Diddy of country music, different musical lanes, but they're similar in massive power and influence? Everybody loves Garth.
Yes, but I wouldn't make that comparison because Diddy is now associated with extreme, horrific criminality. And thus far, Garth is accused of awfulness, but only by this one woman. And he is innocent until proven guilty or proven to be innocent in court. What I find most interesting about this lawsuit is it should be fairly simple to confirm or deny some very key pieces of what is alleged against Garth Brooks. For example, you mentioned that this incident of alleged rape happened in a hotel room in Los Angeles in 2019. The groomer, the lady who did Garth's hair and makeup, says that when she got to the hotel, she discovered that Garth did not book her a hotel room for herself, which is standard practice for a big superstar like that. If I am, somebody that needs to verify that, I'll reach out to the hotel. Did this woman have her own room there? Was there a reservation under her name? That should be something that could be quickly and easily, I think, found out. Also, the alleged text messages. She claims that Garth.
And let's take a moment here to listen again to what he just said. Right? It's pretty obvious, but I want to also bring up something you might all remember.
Found out. Also, the alleged text messages. She claims that Garth would send her
Wait.
inappropriate
Where?
the alleged text messages she claims
The
reached
fuck?
out to the hotel
Yeah,
did
there it is, right
practice
there.
for a big superstar like that. If I am, somebody that needs to verify that, I'll reach out to the hotel. Did this woman have her own room there? Was there a reservation under her name? That should
So first of all, it sounds like he's saying, did this fucking woman, because of the way it paused him. Someone else did this in a case. I'm curious if you guys notice who did this recently in a case that we've talked about probably more than any other case on this channel, aside from like Henry and Apology Line. What's another case we talk about a ton on this channel where somebody, maybe authorities, maybe others, checked to see if someone was in a hotel room or if they were at a crime scene? I'm interested to see if any of you guys know which case I'm talking about. And then an eccentric lawyer decided he was going to check with the hotel. And he called the hotel, but they didn't want to tell him because they have a policy where they don't disclose that kind of information. So that, yes, baby fish mouth, fucking Mia on top of it. Yes, you are right, Rex. And John Ray called the hotel after the FBI had already cleared Asa and the kids. And he couldn't get a hold of anyone who would give him information. So what did he do? He found an old employee through what, LinkedIn history? I'm assuming it's probably that. Or somebody called him trying to make a quick buck. An ex-employee who, by the way, in my opinion, seemed quite disgruntled. I did track down who I believe it was. And they had plenty of reason to talk shit, to try to get a payday. They're not doing well in life. Anyway, according to them, they checked the system and it could have been a week off. Oh my God. You mean they lied about staying in that specific hotel? Well, here's why that's fucking stupid. They'd been staying at another hotel in Atlantic City just before that. Do you really think they left Atlantic City just to go home, commit a horrific murder with her autistic son and her daughter, and then drive back to Atlantic City to book the next stay in the hotel? Or do you think they stayed for an elongated time and that the check written for the hotel at the time cleared 1 week later, and or the debit transaction just like it did at every other hotel, which just logs it into the system a week after the stay is complete? They do this in case they have to make any adjustments on the credit card, in case anybody trashes the room or, does anything that costs them. If there's a mini bar and they drink from it, then they've got to put that through. If they notice something later that's damaged, they literally have a week to process damages through the cards. That's why a lot of hotel postings show that a person's checkout or check-in is actually a week later than it is. This is something that the FBI also followed on and confirmed, and it's something well known to people in the hotel industry, especially in touristy areas in some cities. I've checked other records from other cases in Atlantic City and found this to be fucking true. That's why John Ray annoys me. Simultaneously, yes, Perez Hilton, they can absolutely do that. You just have to make sure eccentric lawyers don't talk to old coworkers who happen to be pretty pissed off at the prior place of employment that fired them for doing drugs in the bathroom. And then you have to hope that they don't put that bullshit out to the media and that everybody doesn't believe it. But go on, King.
To be something that could be quickly and easily, I think, found out. Also, the alleged text messages. She claims that Garth would send her inappropriate, lewd, just awful text messages. That too should be able to be unearthed or not.
That is so true.
If those two key pieces of information are missing, then I think it would be a very hard case for her to win.
Also, Gen X to the seventh power. This is the same in like any industry where there's hair and makeup, but especially wrestling. Fucking WWE, AEW, they poach back and forth industry people for media makeup costumes, photographers, fucking crew members. Oh my God, it's wild. They should make a reality show about that.
You know, Garth Brooks is that rare A-list celebrity with no scandals. I mean, so many people love him. You know, the scandals until now, I should say. His image is wholesome. He's a family man. You've got your finger on the pulse of fans. What are people in the country music world saying about these allegations tonight?
Well, it depends who you ask, like anything. There are some people who remember the early 2000s when Garth was married to his first wife,
Oh, here we
and
go.
there was a little bit of overlap. Some might say there was a similar situation to what Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Okay, I really want to comment on this, so I'm gonna keep it up. I hope that's not weird for you. And I'm gonna let this play through a little bit more and get to a stopping point, and then I'm gonna come back to it.
Jolie had, because he began allegedly, he got friendly
Oh wait,
with
I
his
can
now
just
wife
start it.
Trisha Yearwood while they were on tour together, and he was still married to his other wife. So he does have a considerably wholesome, beloved reputation, but it's not been completely scandal-free or checker-free. But yes, he has defiantly spoken out, released a statement after this explosive lawsuit was made public today, confirming that he feels that he was extorted, that he was asked to pay millions of dollars in order to make this go away, and that he did not feel that was the correct thing to do because he's
Good
not
morning,
done these
Des.
things, he says.
Right. And
Okay, here's the pausing point, and I starred 2 comments because I really want to talk about them. Okay, so let me paint the scene for you. You're a famous country star. You're Trisha Yearwood. All right. It's 1999. You're doing the Houston Stock Show and Rodeo, which is fucking prestige as shit. You're doing every single tour date in Australia and Europe. You're fucking going everywhere around the world. You got money like that. At that time, it was like her and Leanne Rimes and Martina McBride and the one who sang Shake the Sugar Tree, that chick, Pam Tillis. You had Reba. You had a lot of really fucking good pop country from like 1992 to like 2003. This was pre-Taylor Swift. This was when Leanne Rimes' Blue was still the shit. You know what I mean? Vince Gill was still kind of hot. Clint Black was fucking dreamy. John Michael Montgomery, hot as fuck. Everybody was on Garth's dick. You understand? Everybody. But everybody was also on Travis Tritt's dick. Everybody was also on fucking Rick Trevino. Like, it was a good fucking time for pop country. All right. Trisha Yearwood made Winona Judd look like shit and made Reba look like piss for a good like 4 years. The only bitch who could overshadow her at that time, in my opinion, and this is cutting it real fucking close, would have been Faith Hill. And that was only because she got with like one of the hottest dudes, as we all know. And Faith Hill with fucking Johnny's daddy is taking him fishing. I mean, it doesn't get fucking hotter than that. You understand? So aside from Kenny Chesney, like those are the top 5, okay? It's fucking Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. It's Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. And then at the very fucking top was a man named Kenny Chesney who was bald. He was weird, but he fucking killed it. Fucking killed it on that fucking movie with Renee Zellweger and fucking Tom Cruise, where she's like, you complete, what was it? You Had Me at Hello. What was that fucking movie? Fuck. Anyway, Kenny Chesney went on to marry Renee Zellweger, by the way, but he had a couple of hit songs and all that shit. He was the top. Yes, he thinks my tractor sexy. That song came out. The one that was like big orange ball bouncing in the water. That fucking song ruled. Fuck, what was that song? How Forever Feels. I mean, if you were a hillbilly out in the country, if you were a fucking redneck in that time, which I was, I lived in the country, you fucking knew How Forever felt. You fucking knew Kenny Chesney, but most of all, you better damn well know Garth. You better damn well know fucking Tim McGraw and Faith. But more than anything, you need to know Trisha fucking Yearwood. I mean, this was the year of she's in love with the boy. Like, shit was popping, dude. Patty Loveless, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, my point is she's big shit. She's hot goddess energy at the time. She was the redneck Beyonce. Do you understand? Like, of country music. People wanted Trisha to get some dick. She was not getting dick. And people said, we want you to have some dick, Trisha. Get a good man. All right. Every motherfucker I just listed is a terrible husband. In the men department, they've all cheated. They've all fucked around and found out. Travis tried to date my mom once, dude. I'm not even kidding. Hit her up at a rodeo. Tried to hook up with her. Mom's like, fuck no. Guess what happened? He's on fucking hard copy for whooping his wife's ass a couple of years later. They're not good dudes. I think out of all of them, fuck, the one dude, fucking, I just named him, Dwight Yoakam. Did I say him? He fucking ruled, dude, because he started making movies. He broke away from the group. Everybody else did fucking nuts shit. If you think Marilyn Manson and fucking Motley Crue and all these motherfuckers and Ozzy, if you think they partied and did drugs backstage and did wild shit, my God, country music stars are fucking crazy. All right. And when I worked in radio, the country station, everybody who worked there was drunk. All the artists were drunk. Everybody was insane. They were all insane. Is Garth capable of such atrocities? Fucking yes, dude. He's fucking Garth. He's a fucking billionaire. When I see the question about this hotel room, if they'd worked together for ages, would they have said no? Because he's a fucking billionaire, dude. This guy, first of all, he has a residency in Vegas and has for quite some time. He gets free hotel rooms at any of those chains. If it's MGM, he gets a hotel at any MGM, any fucking hotel room, not just in Vegas if he wants one. This motherfucker could rent out 2 penthouse floors if he wanted. Simultaneously, I have personally looked into Jane Doe a lot. I found all her social media. It's pretty fucking easy to find. I found her Twitter. I looked back at the times and compared them to the things that are in the documents. There is some interesting choices. There are interesting choices made. I'm not going to judge her for those choices, but there are interesting choices made that make me worry for her and make me want her to make all her shit private. I've seen people, I'll quash some shit right now. First of all, she traveled in a group with like 4 or 5 other people. It wasn't just her as much as it seems like. She's like, I love working with my coworkers and these people at my job. And she's always in group pictures. And the people in those pictures have their own social media where they are costumers, also makeup artists, hairstylists, stage managers, assistants. And they seem to be in a lot of the same pictures at the same time on the same tours with these artists. Simultaneously, she's with Trisha and Garth in some, just Trisha and most, and with Garth along with some of those coworkers and others. It does seem, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's communication and back and forth under pictures where, you know, they make mention of having traveled together. So it seems like there's a tight-knit group of them. However, when looking to see if she was ever alone with Garth, anything public that we can prove, when he did his live in Studio G interviews, there's one where she's literally doing his hair and makeup during the pandemic with a mask on around the date in question and in the documents. And he's doing an interview while she's giving him a spray tan on the face. And you could see she's a very tiny woman. She's around his age. She's beautiful. She doesn't wear glasses, though, which is something I noticed. She wore sunglasses on her head at one point, but she doesn't wear glasses in anything I could find. And I thought it was odd that in the documents, she states that he wanted to bust on her glasses. And I was like, wait, she doesn't wear them. The only time I saw her with any glasses were sunglasses outside and in that one interview. It is interesting, though, that he chose to do that for no reason. Like, he could have just, it was pre-recorded. Like, he could have done that interview anywhere, but he chose to inconveniently speak and do an interview while someone's doing his makeup, which is infuriating to me and makes me kind of hate him. But let's keep going.
I do want to mention
Long
that
story short, like I don't see him getting like this guy is a fucking. That's like if Jeff Bezos had an assistant and made them sleep in the room with him. Like it's kind of weird, right?
statement because we do have it and we want to read it to be fair. So let's go ahead and put it up for everybody to see. He wrote, for the last 2 months.
Also, this is absolutely true, Angela, and this is what's alleged in the documents, in the paperwork, in the accusations. Specifically, exactly what you said there, almost verbatim. Like he took advantage of her at a vulnerable time. And I'll go through the timeline shortly, but let's finish watching this. But it's very interesting.
I have been hassled to no end with threats, lies, and tragic tales of what my future would be if I did not write a check for many millions of dollars. It has been like having a loaded gun waved in my face. Hush money, no matter how much or how little, is still hush money. In my mind, that means I'm admitting to behavior I am incapable of, ugly acts no human should ever do to another. And Perez, I mean, we printed the lawsuit. We have been going through it. It's crazy. I mean, it is this lawsuit. You go page by page, and it reads like a pornographic novel. It's very serious.
I mean, literally, the groomer alleges, he would talk inappropriately about his wife as well, wanting to engage in threesomes with his wife and with her. More complaints of forcibly putting this woman's hands, according to her, on his genitalia, and I think it's important for me to share with everybody in case they don't know. Many people are probably asking, well, why did she stay? If she was subjected to this, why did she stay?
This is a fantastic statement. It does give a clean image, doesn't it? It also gives a good Christian image. That's why you often see a lot of people, and this is a blanket statement. This is just my opinion. You often see a lot of like, I guess rednecks and religious country types, basically people who are into country music, tend to grow up in really Christian households, don't they? And there's a big crossover, as we all know, between gospel and country. Look at Johnny Cash, how he started. By the way, Rosanna Cash, Johnny's daughter, is one of this woman who is accusing Garth. That's one of her main clients. In fact, this woman has been doing makeup in country, specifically in the country music industry in Tennessee and all over the world since like 1989. She's done Martina McBride's. She did Loretta Lynn's makeup. I'm pretty sure she did Dolly's. She's done music videos for everyone who's big. I think Faith, definitely Trisha since 1999. Like, she's also been Trisha's best friend, like one of her best friends. She's got like 3 or 4. She's in a ton of pictures with Trisha. But what strikes me as odd, to be honest, is she's in a lot of pictures with Trisha around the time these accusations were to have allegedly taken place. So, like, literally a few days before, she claims that he violently did things to her that split her open and caused her to have to go to a hospital. Like, days before, she's with Trisha in pictures, and then within a week after, she's also posing, smiling for a bunch of pictures with Trisha just on the road. And in the picture, she looks really happy and she doesn't look injured. I have seen so many victims that can hide it like no other. They hide trauma so well, you wouldn't even be able to tell, but it's because they're so used to it. It's part of that quote unquote grooming that's being done to them, the advantage being taken of them. That's why they're vulnerable. In a way, it's like there's somebody who will be willing to hide and pretend nothing is wrong because they're so desperate, or they're in a fucked up situation, or they're terrified. When I looked into everything after these events were supposed to take place, it seems, not only does it seem like she has pictures saying, I fucking love my job. I love my job. I love Trisha. She calls her the queen. And they're pictures that she posted on her own social media. And, it's I don't even think Trisha saw them because like she's not friends with her on social media anymore. But at the time she was, but the like count still adds up. The old comments are there, but there's none from it seems any. But my point is like it seems like she chose to post these on her own, right? Like she's not tagging Trisha or Garth in them. It's not a requirement of her job. She's posting them and she's looking happy. Now, granted, to play devil's advocate, she also has other people in those pictures that she does tag. So maybe she wanted to tag those friends. But it's the comments underneath and the way she describes like how much she loves working for Trisha and she admires her and she calls her the queen. They all do, even Garth does. But then you see the evidence in the affidavit, like the snippets of it. And let's say he didn't commit the battery or the assault and it was just an affair. Let's say that totally. Let's say it was a consensual total affair. It's still shocking because she was posting things like that about Trisha and he's calling her a queen, in which case, they're both assholes. So either way, whether Garth did it or didn't do it, the affair is still there and the evidence of it is still there and he's still an asshole. So whether or not he committed the violent acts or not doesn't change the fact that he's still a douche. Like there's no good way for him to get out of this. He definitely did something with that woman or to that woman.
The woman claims that she was under extreme financial hardship at the time, that Garth Brooks knew this and was taking advantage of her, exploiting her because of her difficult financial situation.
Right.
She had to stay employed, needed that money.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
Freaking Banfield. Okay, here's the other thing I wanted to show you. Let me take this down. And then we'll get into reading the spicy ducks. I want to give you examples of both sides. I already feel like maybe it seems like I'm swaying pro Garth. I need you to know in advance I do have bias. I think Garth is a total creep. I also wrote music for a podcast for a long time that accuses Garth frequently of committing murder. I do frequently tweet on my other accounts for comedy, "Where are the bodies, Garth?" Playing up the funny gag that has been a long game troll and prank that this podcast has done on Garth for years. I'm sure they feel like oracles right now if he is truly guilty of this. But I need you to know, like, the reason why I'm trying to be fair and balanced. Excuse me. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. And play devil's advocate is specifically because of that. Because I do have a bias. I do think he's totally fucking weird. I've watched a lot of his creepy Instagram. I do think he has bodies in a basement, aside from this situation. So in order to be as fair as I possibly can, I really have to play up the defense attorney argument. As in, like, what could Garth's lawyer say? However, I also want to withhold my opinion until it's all over with to show you a side of it that does exist. I am going to show you, for those who haven't seen it, the David Letterman speech. Garth did also come back pretty quick. In fact, he preemptively, I guess because he knew the lawsuit was coming, which leads me to think, was he? Like, how would he know a lawsuit was coming to preemptively file federal documents? That's what really gets me. The only way is if there were prior dialogue that this was going to come out, which leads me to believe a potential extortion attempt is possible. Otherwise, how would he know? I mean, I get it. If he did it, though, then that's how he would know. So, to be fair and to show both sides, I guess that could be the counter argument. Let's see what David Letterman did when put in the situation that Garth is saying he's in. And then let's watch how Garth responds as the days go on. How about that? This is real and this is wild.
Very much Paul. I'm glad you folks are here tonight, and I'm glad you're in such a pleasant mood because I have a little story that I would like to tell you and the home viewers as well. Do you feel like a story? This started 3 weeks ago yesterday, and I get up early and I come to work early, and I go out and I get into my car, and in the back seat of my car is a package I don't recognize and have never seen before, and don't usually receive packages 6 in the morning in the back of my car. I guess you can. I guess some people do. So I get to looking through it, and there's a letter in the package, and it says that I know that you do some terrible, terrible things, and I can prove that you do these terrible things. And sure enough, contained in the package was stuff to prove that I do terrible things. At 6 in the morning, and maybe this looks better to you at noon, but 6 in the morning, all you can think about is every terrible thing you've ever done in your entire life. So I go through it, and I study it, and what this is a guy is going to write a screenplay about me, and you know that's good news for anyone, isn't it? Really?
Oh no. Hey, this is kind of weird. A guy was going to write a screenplay about me, too. Am I David Letterman? Maybe I have been extorted. Anyway, yes, they could if the person used the cloud. I mean, did they have a Google phone? Did they have a iPhone and utilize the cloud through AT&T? We don't know. I suppose that Garth could hire experts and have the phone subpoenaed or vice versa. It's really kind of a whole ARCA thing, isn't it? Like, I guess they have to get their own experts and figure that out. Very wild stuff. Also, yes, AJ pointed this out. Her attorneys gave him the documents. Reading his filing is gross because he's so worried about himself and keeping his name hidden. Just made me think of all the victims that didn't get that exactly. I mean, full disclosure, like in the context she puts all the arguments in, the evidence that is there is totally damning if it's true. And that's what reminds me of Vince McMahon. Also, the fact that regardless of what happened, he definitely cheated just tells you that this is fucked. And this happened, by the way, over the pandemic, 2019. His Studio G series with that exact interview where she's doing his makeup and stuff is around that same time.
And he's going to take all of the terrible stuff that he knows about my life. And he seems to, in this packet, there seems to be quite a lot of terrible stuff he knows about. And he's going to put it into a movie unless I give him some money. Yeah. I'm like you. I think, really, that's a little, and this is the word I actually used, that's a little hinky. So I just want to reiterate how terrifying this moment is, because there's something very insidious about, is he standing down there? Is he hiding under the car? Am I going to get a tap on the shoulder? You immediately, because I'm motivated by nothing but guilt. If you know anything about me, I am just a towering mass of Lutheran Midwestern guilt. So, well, thank you. So I get to the office and I say to myself, I hate doing things like this, but maybe I'll call my attorney. So I call my attorney and he takes a look at it and he says, well, let's schedule a meeting with the guy just to see what he has in mind. So there's a meeting with the guy, and it turns out, yes, in fact, he wants a large sum of money, or he's going to produce this screenplay of all the terrible things that I do. Embarrassing, terrible things. So at that point, my attorney and I say, wow, this really is hinky. So then we call an operation called the Special Prosecution Bureau, which is a division of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. We call down there and we say, can we run a couple of things by you guys? And so we took the stuff down there and they said, whoa, hello, this is blackmail. So they said, what you want to do is get another meeting with this guy, find out if he's serious. Because, you know, we all have a bad day and stuff like this slip through the cracks. You know, you've inadvertently blackmailed someone. And so they had the second meeting, and the question was posted. Now, are you aware that this is serious? This is could be a crime, and you know, is there? No, it's fine. I'm fine with that. And oh, by the way, not only am I writing a screenplay, I'm writing a book. So I thought, well, that's nice. You have a companion piece. You have the film, and you have the book. And you know, what do you read the book first, then go to the film? Do you watch the film, then you read the book? Do you take the book and read along at the film? It's all coming up roses for me now. Because remember, this guy knows creepy stuff about me. So they had the second meeting and he was reassured that everything was just fine. And then a third meeting is arranged. And if there's a lighthearted moment in any of this, and I'm not sure there really is, the third meeting is arranged whereby he's given the check. Now, I don't think I've mentioned the amount up till now, but he was asking $2 million. Was that the foreigners? So the check is turned over, $2 million. And because I'm such a bonehead, you ever seen like a golf tournament where they have the giant check when the guy wins it? But I couldn't talk him into that.
No.
And now this guy is...
Let me say this. Dave may be a creep. Dave may be a scumbag. Dave probably fucked a lot of people on that desk. This shit that he's doing right now about the giant check bit, hilarious, but also what the fuck, bro? Like, this is a diffusal like no other. He is Eminemming them. He is saying, yes, I lived in a trailer and I was poor. And you know, my mom did these things to me. Like, he's literally Eminemming and he's killing it. And it's wild.
Walking around New York City with a phony check for $2 million. And the idea is now, although he's given no guarantees, he's still saying, well, you know, you never know. I may just go ahead and write the books. I may just still go ahead and write the screenplay.
Ellie, I couldn't agree more. And 99% of them are true.
So for that guarantee, he's got a phony check for $2 million. So this morning I did something I've never done in my life, and it was a combination of just unusual and scary. This whole thing has been quite scary. I had to go downtown to testify before the grand jury.
Yeah.
And I had to tell them how I was disturbed by this. I was worried for myself. I was worried for my family. I felt menaced by this. And I had to tell them all of the creepy things that I have done that were going to be... Well, now, why is that funny? That's, I mean... So... So the idea is if they believe, in fact, a crime has been committed, then they issue a warrant. And that's exactly what happened. And a little bit after noon today, the guy was arrested. Now, now, of course, we get to what was it? What was all the creepy stuff that he was going to put into the screenplay and the movie? And the creepy stuff was that I have had sex with women who work for me on this show. Now, my response to that is, yes, I have. I have had sex with women who work on this show. And would it be embarrassing if it were made public? Perhaps it would. Perhaps it would, especially for the women. But that's a decision for them to make if they want to come public and talk about the relationships. If I want to go public and talk about the relationships, but what you don't want is a guy saying, "Oh, I know you had sex with women, so I would like $2 million, or I'm going to make trouble for you." So that's where we stand right now. I just want to thank the people at the Special Prosecution Bureau and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office,
True, LAP.
Robert Morgenthau, who is head of that. It's been a very bizarre experience. I feel like I need to protect these people. I need to certainly protect my family. I need to protect myself, hope to protect my job, and the friends, everybody that has been very supportive through this. And I don't plan to say much more about this on this particular topic. So thank you for letting me bend your ears.
It would have been nice if he said sorry to his wife. Just a thought. Just a thought. I would have liked to have seen, "Sorry, honey. Didn't mean to cheat on you with my coworkers," and then tell the whole world about it. I bet it was embarrassing as fuck for her. But there you go. There you go. All right. This I'm definitely going to get copyright struck for, but so be it. It's a update. Hold on. Of Garth apparently speaking out after the accusation, and then we will read. Let's go.
Brooks speaks out after being accused of rape in a new lawsuit. After his former makeup artist and hairstylist accused him of sexual assault and battery in a new lawsuit, the Friends in Low Places singer shares a message denying the allegations and accusing the woman of extortion. He says in a statement to E! News October 3rd, "For the last 2 months, I have been hassled to no end with threats,
True.
lies, and tragic tales of what my future would be if I did not write a check for many millions."
Okay, so he's saying this has gone on for a few months. Interesting.
Of dollars. It has been like having a loaded gun waved in my face. He adds, "Hush money, no matter how much or how little."
Sir, it is not like having a loaded gun waved in your face, you dumbass.
It has been like having a loaded gun waved in my face. He adds, "Hush money, no matter how much or how little, is still hush money. In my mind, that means I am admitting to behavior I am incapable of, ugly acts no human should ever do to another." Garth continues, "I want to play music tonight. I want to continue our good deeds going forward. It breaks my heart these wonderful things are in question now. I trust the system, I do not fear the truth, and I am not the man they have painted me to be." According to docs obtained by E! News, the country singer has been accused of assault, battery, and sexual battery in a lawsuit brought by his and wife Trisha Yearwood's former hairstylist and makeup artist. In the October 3rd filing, the woman, referred to in the suit as Jane Rowe, says she began working for Yearwood in 1999 and started handling hair and makeup for Brooks in 2017. The docs allege that in 2019, Brooks learned that Ms. Rowe was experiencing financial difficulties. He hired Ms. Rowe more often and accused the singer of seizing an opportunity to subject a female employee to a side of Brooks that he conceals from the public. This side of Brooks believes he is entitled to sexual gratification when he wants it, and using a female employee to get it is fair game. The suit accuses Brooks of openly talking about sexual subjects, changing clothing in front of Ms. Rowe, and often purposefully exposed his genitals and buttocks to Ms. Rowe, repeating his sexual fantasies to her, sending her sexually explicit text messages, as well as remarks about having a threesome with his wife, Ms. Yearwood. Rowe also alleges in the lawsuit Brooks raped her during a work trip to Los Angeles for the Grammy Awards in 2019. According to the filing, once in Los Angeles at the hotel, Ms. Rowe could not believe that Brooks had booked a hotel suite with one bedroom and she did not have a separate room. Upon their arrival at the hotel, Rowe's lawsuit says that Brooks appeared in the doorway to the bedroom completely naked and that she felt trapped in the room alone with Brooks, with no one to help and far away from Nashville. The lawsuit says that the assault was painful and traumatic for Rowe and that she was helpless to move from his grip and terrified at what was happening to her. Rowe stopped working for Brooks and Yearwood around May 2021 per the suit and subsequently moved to Mississippi. Her lawyers allege in the docs that when they contacted Brooks to disclose that she was prepared to file a complaint in California to hold him accountable for his sexual assaults, Brooks retaliated and used the fact that Ms. Rowe had dared to speak about the harm he forced on her as an opportunity to inflict even more harm and pain on Ms. Rowe. Specifically, while pretending to be in discussions with Ms. Rowe to resolve her legal claims against him, on September 13, 2024, Brooks filed a preemptive abuse complaint against Ms. Rowe under the Declaratory Judgment Act in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, Northern Division.
So this makes sense. Okay, so basically, because I was going to question some of the dates on these documents, I was curious about, but it's, yeah, I think, I wonder if there was an NDA. I did not see anything in there thus far that shows one or the existence of one, but I could have missed that. Here's what's weird. He said that they were in talks. And then essentially she went behind his back, or he went behind her back, as in the victim, as in they were in discussions, I guess, the lawyers, for a settlement. But then Brooks filed the abuse complaint against her in federal court in September. So that just proves that he did know in September. You know what I mean? If her lawyers reached out for a settlement agreement and basically warned him, yo, we're going to court unless you want to settle out of court for this, I don't necessarily know if that would be seen as extortion, right? That's just part of the process. I mean, that's a tough one. Because legally, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to reach out and try to settle out of court via your lawyers. I don't know that I would consider that extortion, but apparently he tried to make a case for that and it got shot down because her case still went through in October. Let's keep going. I really hate this like weird AI voice, but it might be a real person's voice, which is real spooky.
Entitled Jane Doe versus Jane Roe. Roe is asking for monetary and or compensatory damages, as well as punitive damages / exemplary damages, according to her suit, as well as further relief as the court may deem proper. Brooks had previously denied Roe's claims, saying in his complaint as plaintiff John Doe, according to CNN, that Roe's attorney sent him a confidential demand letter alleging sexual misconduct after he declined Roe's request for salaried employment and medical benefits. Brooks' previous lawsuit stated, per the outlet, defendant's allegations are not true. Defendant is well aware, however, of the
Okay, this is pretty fucked up. She worked for Trisha for 25 fucking years, dude. And she worked for Garth for a long fucking time, for what, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years? Like, no, I guess it would be 5. It would be 5 or 6 years. But like, she was on tour with them. Like, there are pictures of her with them on tour, both of them, constantly. And as far as the vulnerability or her financial situations go, she didn't have a lot of outstanding stuff in court. She had like one old situation with, I think it was a place she was living, and I think it had something to do with all the tenants there. It looks like something happened at like a place she lived. I don't know. It was stupid. It was like $1,500. It was many years ago. It was nothing, you know? He's got quite a few weird court records where he represents himself pro se. He's trying to get a hold of this person's will. Like, it's like a lot of weird shit. He's got a marriage license with Trisha in December of 2005. She's with him 25 years. If he did the things that she's accusing him of doing, fucking, she deserves beyond the medical fucking insurance and benefits and a salary. I mean, she deserves a fuckload of compensation, especially for past medical bills. However, if this is an extortion attempt, it's kind of a weak one. I mean, she just wants health insurance and a salary. I mean, that seems pretty fucking fair for someone who's worked for you 24/7 for 25 years, right?
Substantial irreparable damage
What do you think?
such false allegations would do to plaintiff's well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, along with the unavoidable damage to his
No, you're not fucked up, Daniel. I would do the same thing.
family and the irreparable damage to his career and livelihood that would result if she made good on her threat to publicly file her fabricated lawsuit. Roe's attorney said in a statement to NBC News that Brooks' efforts to silence our client through the filing of a
Does look like
preemptive complaint in Mississippi was nothing other than an act of desperation and attempted intimidation. They added, "We are confident that Brooks will be held accountable for his actions. We applaud our client's courage in moving forward with her complaint against
no.
Garth Brooks. The complaint filed today demonstrates that sexual predators exist not only in corporate media, Hollywood, and in the rap and rock and roll industries, but also in the world of country music."
Good morning, Jenny. This is crazy. I thought the filing said 15. Maybe there was a crossover. What do you mean? What do you mean 15? Oh, I went on it because of, oh, you went on a movie date. It is wild, right? This is all crazy. This is hard to believe, dude. And that David Letterman shit is wild too. Okay, so a little bit about this woman. 25 years. She, like I said, has been not just like working for Trisha, but like besties with Trisha, like homies. Like Trisha's all over her Facebook. I will say this. Right now, I'm looking at a picture from May 24th, 2019, right? In this picture, she's with a group of people that travel with Trisha as part of her glam squad. In this picture, she's smiling real big. They're all smiling. Trisha's holding the camera. She's taking a selfie of the whole group. It looks like they're having a great time. She posted this picture in 2019. And it says 2 years ago today. So it's from 2017. And she says, "I love them. They're all crazy and brilliant and beautiful. I scored." This post was made by her. And she continues to, discuss how happy she is in other posts with Trisha around that time. Literally right before that, on May 2nd, she's talking about doing a fun makeup shoot. A few days after that, she's selling stuff at her antique store online. But May 24th, 2019 is an important date because this would have been just a few days after she went to the hospital because Garth supposedly split her open, allegedly. It's odd to me to make that post right after that happened. Does that say she's lying? No. Could she be doing that as a cover for some reason? Sure. I mean, it is public. It is just an odd choice. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe she was doing it to show people that there's nothing wrong when really she was suffering on the inside. But again, odd choice. If I were a defense attorney, I would be like, I mean, if you're trying to prove that you were suffering and this couple was torturing you and Garth was doing all these things to you, like, why would you post a picture of you and his wife together and like how much fun you had and how you missed those times and how you scored and they're all brilliant, beautiful. It's just an odd choice. I can see how a lot of things on her social media could be used against her, and I hope that she makes them private. Literally a week before this post is when she was supposedly, allegedly, violently assaulted by Garth to a point where she had to go to the hospital and was in severe pain. It's part of the major case against him. Like, she's suing him for medical for damages and physical pain to her body. Just odd to post about how she loves her job and loves Trisha so much right after that. But then Auntie Ree makes a fantastic point. Stockholm Syndrome. Victims love their abusers. That is true. Just pressing charges? No, it's like a whole ass lawsuit involving punitive damage among many other kinds of damages, lots of money. No exact number given yet. I was relating to Garth for about 5 weeks in 92. Yeah, that was a good song. So was the exact time she's saying it happened. We're going to read that in a second. If there are hospital records, he did it. Yeah, she likely will present those. Here's another issue. She recorded a lot of things, right? In Tennessee, it's a one party, no recording state. Like you can't record one side of a conversation. You have to have permission from both parties. But I believe she filed this or recorded the shit in Mississippi or LA. So I think it is legal and she can use it. But that was one of the grounds that Garth was trying to get it all, or he was going to use to try to get it thrown out. It's not going to work. So she does apparently have a lot of proof and evidence according to the claims made. She may have wanted to put up a cushion because of the danger of trying to leave if you're discovered attempting to leave. That's a good point. To be fair, though, she does leave to do other artists' makeup during that time. Like she dips in and out. So I think she does get days off, but she also works, which I think she could maybe use to her benefit. Like, you know, I had to work multiple jobs. It really is kind of unfair that they didn't give her benefits or pay for a lot of stuff. I believe okay, so that's tricky. I think she did at one point. Then didn't. It looked like she was dating someone a little bit younger for a while. But, you know, it's hard to tell. She's an artist, so everything's a lot of blurry pictures of shit and weird flowers. Is legal if the recording is a crime. That is true. That is true. But also, like, is a conversation about something that's kind of vague a crime? You know what I mean? If you're conversing about a crime, then it depends on who the burden of proof is on to prove that it was and that it happened. There's just so much weird shit at play here. I think if she had a boyfriend or husband, that might have had her pause on charging criminally embarrassment to them. She doesn't have a prominent one that I could tell, like no one that's like out on her social media a lot. She poses with pictures with this one guy a lot that could be her boyfriend, but he looks a little young. They still would have known where she was and if she was avoiding them. True. They could. Maybe her medical records are actually something ones, though. I don't know what lecker means. Proper ones. Yeah, I mean, here's another thing. Like, she could have medical records, and she does claim that she went to the hospital, and I do believe there's info in there. Like, everything that she says in the complaint, they claim to have evidence for. So, it's wild. Let's go ahead. Good morning, Jen's Missing Tooth. We are going to go ahead and jump into, we're going to read 2 complaints. Today, we're going to read the 6-page one. And tomorrow, we're going to read the long-ass one, which is 27 pages. The one today that we're reading, and it's one of the reasons that we spent a little more time talking about the defense argument. Garth's side, even though I hate talking about like why he could be innocent, because it's like, fuck Garth, dude, he's creepy as shit, in my opinion, allegedly. But one of the reasons we're talking about that, we're focusing on that right now, is A, because I have bias. I think Garth fucking sucks dick. But also, B, and I don't mean like sucks dick in a sexual way. I mean like he fucking, or sucks ass. He fucking sucks a fucking bag of potatoes. He's a piece of shit. But in order to curb that bias, I have to look from the defense's side today, because we're going to read his 6-page preemptive attempt to block her from coming out with this information. And then tomorrow, otherwise. Now, I will say about the NDAs, the federal laws were changed involving NDAs. You can't have an NDA that covers up a crime. I believe it was 2020 when that changed. The Biden administration changed it. It made all that shit null and void and opened the pathway to charge Trump and simultaneously to charge like Vince McMahon and a lot of other people who were committing lots of heinous crimes. And it's illegal to basically put an NDA on someone to cover up a crime now. It wasn't before. Also, I believe the statute isn't up on a lot of those crimes. So if you did sign one to basically protect someone who committed a crime against you, it's all null and void. You're about to see a lot of books come out where people talk their talk and they speak their truth. We're about to see a revolution of that, because all of these different court cases that we're seeing where that's happening with celebrities and shit is making people go, oh shit, maybe I can do that. Like anybody. So people who may have been under prior NDAs to cover up acts like, let's say, personal assistants, makeup artists, hairdressers, you're about to see a fuckload of them come out. Ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, co-workers, mistresses, a lot. So this shit, anything that happened before that change, dude, it doesn't matter. You can still, like, right now, if she was under anything from the past at all, from the past 25 years, null and void. Remember, there is an accusation about Trisha making her uncomfortable with Garth together at one point. We're going to read that one tomorrow. Today, we're going to read the preemptive one. It is odd. It is really odd. Also, good morning, Candy Temple. Nice to see you. Age of Aquarius, all truth will be. Don't you fucking give me that weird astrology shit. I'm still pissed off at Summer for opening up my fucking third eye. Okay. Let's get through this. Oh my God. So this is basically, and I'm going to open it so that you can see it too. And let me even zoom in a little. Let me get real close to the mic. We're going to do this like a real podcast. Hard piece. All right. Here we go. So it says John Doe and Jane Roe. Everybody knows who the fuck this is about, but for the sake of me not getting my fucking ass sued, it's allegedly, supposedly, we think possibly, maybe Garth Brooks versus allegedly, supposedly, we think possibly, maybe a woman who is his makeup artist. Actually, I'm not going to name her at all. We'll just call her Jane Roe. So he filed this last month, September 13th, 2024. For the record, her complaint came out of the county of Los Angeles literally 4 days ago in October. So he did obviously have prior knowledge to the point where he tried to sue to shut her up in advance. Doesn't look good, Garth, especially because it didn't work. So let's go. In the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, Northern Division, John Doe versus Jane Roe, civil action, blah, 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 plaintiff versus defendant, trial by jury demanded. So this is Garth saying, this is what I want, and this is what I'm pissed about. Plaintiff, Garth, files this lawsuit to obtain relief from defendant's ongoing attempted extortion, defamation, false light, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. So now he has to prove intent, like she intended to fuck me up. Tall ass order, Mr. Pro say. God damn it, Garth, what an idiot. Basically, he did the Sovsits thing a long time ago, and that's wild to me. He didn't have to. He still had millions of dollars through outrageous conduct, including the publication and threatened wider publication of false allegations of sexual misconduct that would irreparably harm plaintiff's reputation, family, career, and livelihood. So they're focusing on the allegations of sexual misconduct, which I think is interesting, right? When the fine language in her actual complaint specifically says assault and battery and sexual assault and battery. Battery means he hurt her. He physically put his hands on her and hurt her. That is way worse than sexual misconduct. So I just think it's odd that that's not included in there. He needs to get a better lawyer. This is insane. parties. Okay, party one. Plaintiff is an adult resident citizen of Tennessee, aka Garth. Plaintiff brings this action under the pseudonym John Doe to avoid the irreparable harm to reputation that he seeks to prevent through this action. Plaintiff will disclose his identity to the court through a sealed in-camera filing or as the court otherwise deems appropriate. Defendant, by the way, the idea that you can, I will choose to reveal myself to the court at my own disclosure is fucking insane to me. Wow. Feels like privilege. 2. Defendant is an adult resident of Mississippi, this young lady. Or actually, she's the same age as Garth, so this fucking lady. This complaint uses the pseudonym Jane Roe for the defendant to avoid unnecessarily harming her reputation. Fair enough, but we see what you're doing, sir. Plaintiff will disclose defendant's identity to the court through a sealed in-camera filing or as the court otherwise deems appropriate. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has subject matter jurisdiction under blah, 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 because complete diversity of citizenship exists between the parties and the amount in controversy exceeds the sum of $75,000 exclusive of interest and costs. So this is interesting. The amount in controversy. So he never gave us a number. We didn't have a number on how much money she was seeking in damages, but they must know because it exceeds $75K. So it's over $75K. Fair enough. Venue is proper under blah, 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 because defendant resides in this judicial district and division. Plaintiff is a celebrity and public figure who resides in Tennessee. These are the facts. Defendant worked professionally with plaintiff as an independent contractor. Why do you make these people tour with you and put up with your psychotic celebrity bullshit like they are a house pet and then make them independent contractors when you have so much goddamn money? That's insane. For approximately 15 years before she relocated from Tennessee to Mississippi in May of 2020. By the way, it was way longer than that, but fair enough. I guess they're talking about Garth and not Trisha, because keep in mind, she's with Trisha since 1999. Soon after moving to Mississippi, defendant apparently encountered financial difficulties and asked plaintiff for financial assistance. I find this wording odd. Apparently, as in, when I think of apparently, I think of like it appears that way. I mean, just looking at her social media, it actually doesn't appear like she was having a lot of financial hardships, and there are no records that I could find of that. But who knows? Maybe that could be what's going on. I think this was a terrible decision for his lawyers to put this in there because they are now basically succumbing to part of her accusation. Like, she literally says, he took advantage of my vulnerability because I was in financial dire straits. This is indicating that it is a fact that she appeared to be in financial dire straits. She was having financial difficulties. So Garth's side is admitting to knowing this and asked plaintiff for financial assistance. Also, she asked him for financial assistance. This part I'm interested in, because if she worked for him for that long and was an independent contractor, this is not unreasonable. Give me a forwarded paycheck. Hook me up with a raise. Fair enough. That does not extortion make. But it's interesting that they're acknowledging her financial difficulties because now they're acknowledging that she's vulnerable, and that is part of the main basis for her complaint. Plaintiff complied out of loyalty? Interesting. So Garth is loyal to her, but keeping her as an independent contractor. Okay, whatever. Friendship. Definitely trying to distance himself, in my opinion, from the employer role, whatever, and a desire to improve defendant's condition. Your desires does not a good reason make, sir, for the court, but whatever. But defendant's demands for financial assistance only increased, with the defendant ultimately asking plaintiff for for salaried employment and medical benefits. She may as well take his whole house. No, seriously, this guy is borderline billionaire, right? I mean, he has a residency in fucking Vegas, dude. She worked for him for over 2 decades. You can't hook a bitch up with a salary and medical benefits? She fucking lives with you guys. She's there all the time. When plaintiff advised he could not agree to defendant's demands for salaried employment and medical benefits, she responded with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct she claims occurred years ago, specifically on July 17th, 2024. An attorney acting at defendant's direction sent plaintiff and others with whom plaintiff professionally works as ostensibly confidential demand letter alleging a litany of sexual misconduct by plaintiff, ranging from allegations of sexual grooming, creation of a sexually hostile work environment, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual assault. Defendant also alleged a belief that plaintiff planned to hire someone to murder her. What? I think I missed that part in her complaint. I mean, I breezed through it and checked the fucking I's and dotted the T's, but goddamn. What? Defendant also alleged a belief that. So this bitch thought Garth was going to kill her? This is getting closer to Diddy. The July 17th demand letter was the first time the plaintiff learned of these allegations, none of which has any basis of fact. Keep that in mind. They're saying none of which has any basis of fact. She has texts that definitely show there is fact behind the two of them having something. They are in the complaint. So this is already untrue. Bad start, Garth. Defendant threatened in the July 17th demand letter to publicly file an enclosed draft civil complaint against plaintiff, repeating the same fabricated allegations unless plaintiff agreed to pay defendant millions of dollars not to file the suit. The letter referred to various celebrity sexual misconduct lawsuits featuring multi-million-dollar jury awards. Interesting. In a follow-up letter dated August 23rd, 2024, which would have been like 2 or 3 weeks before this was filed, defendant, through her attorney, offered to refrain from publicly filing her false and defamatory lawsuit against plaintiff in exchange for multi-million-dollar payment. She threatened that if plaintiff failed to meet this demand, he would face exposure of many millions of dollars based on his net worth. Well, at least she's being fair and basing it on his net worth, not his gross net. It doesn't matter. Defendant's alleged allegations are not true. Defendant is well aware, however, of the substantial irreparable damage such false allegations would do to plaintiff's well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person. I would not say decent, along with the unavoidable damage to his family. I mean, he already cheated on his, okay, whatever. And the irreparable damage to his career, he can repair it. Whatever, would result if she made good on her threat to publicly file her fabricated lawsuit. Why is it in quotes? I mean, show me the goods. If you're quoting it, then show me the letter. Indeed, such knowledge no doubt explains why defendant threatened to file suit through a confidential demand letter rather than simply filing suit to redress her alleged but untrue injuries. Damn. Claims for relief. Defendant publication of such false allegations and her threat to file a lawsuit more widely publicizing such false allegations against plaintiff has given rise to a justiciable controversy. Controversy between the parties, entitling plaintiff to declaratory judgment pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 2201, and the defendant's allegations of sexual misconduct are untrue. I wouldn't say that because she has proved that they are true. Defendant's false allegations and her threats to wrongfully assassinate plaintiff's character through the public airing of such revulsive, is that a word? Do you mean revolting? Is that a word? This is gonna piss me. I'm sorry, guys. I will look at chat in a minute. Let's find out. Is revulsive a word? This can't be a word. Is this a word? Revulsive is an adjective that means a feeling of intense repugnance. Would have been way better, but fair enough. Okay, revulsive is a word, whatever, fine. And untrue allegations have caused plaintiff emotional distress, including anxiety and fear for himself and his family. Oh, Garth has anxiety. Defendants attempted extortion of plaintiff for millions of dollars through such untrue, lewd allegations. Lewd constitutes intentional, outrageous conduct that was intended to and did in fact cause plaintiff serious mental injury. I mean, he was always kind of fucking crazy, but whatever. Amounting to an intentional infliction of emotional distress for which plaintiff is entitled to recover compensatory and punitive damages. So now Garth wants money. Is Garth extorting? Just kidding. Defendant has defamed plaintiff by intentionally publishing her July 17th letter and enclosed draft complaint containing these false allegations of sexual misconduct to persons other than the plaintiff. Defendant intentionally published these statements to others with the knowledge that the statements were false and defamatory. Defendant's publication of these defamatory statements was not privileged, but was made with malice, ill will, and improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from plaintiff. Defendant's intentional defamation of plaintiff entitles plaintiff to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Garth wants more money. Defendant's malicious publication of her false allegations of sexual misconduct also placed plaintiff. I don't know about you guys, but I never heard about this shit in July. And I did try to look for prior shit. I didn't see any of this published anywhere. Call bullshit, Garth. Defendant intentionally published these statements with knowledge of their falsity. Falsity? I'm not going to Google it, but I want to. And with knowledge of the false light. Well, why would you say falsity and false light in the same time? I'm so pissed. In which the statements would place plaintiff. Defendant's publication of these false allegations was not privileged, but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from the plaintiff. Defendant's intentional false light invasion of privacy entitles plaintiff to recover compensatory and I think next time I'm going to go through these before I ever read them. I'm just going to X out every time it says defendant and put the girl. And I'm going to X out plaintiff and just put Garth, because I hate reading these same words over and over. Garth is also entitled to allegedly Garth is also entitled to preliminary and permanent injunctive relief prohibiting her from continuing her attempted extortion, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy, and from making good on her threats to more widely publicize her false allegations against Garth, allegedly. Allegedly, Garth will suffer irreparable harm to his reputation, his family, his career, and life. He already said this. This has been said. Okay, so this is like, don't extort me, bro. This is like, give me money because you're lying, bitch. And then we go down, allegedly. And then we go down, and it's like, money isn't enough for what she fucking did to this man. Oh, these are salacious. Okay, and then let's keep going because I'm not going to read all that shit. You get the idea. Accordingly, plaintiff requests that the court award him the following relief. So here's how we relieve a Garth who is feral. He wants us to declare, aka the court, the court of the people. No, he wants the judge to say that this chick's full of shit. It looks like here he wants money for her being full of shit, allegedly. Right here, he wants, what is this? He wants enough money so that it spooks other bitches trying to talk shit. Okay, right here, preliminary and permanent injunctive relief prohibiting. He's like, keep this bitch away from me. Right here, he wants her to pay for all the attorney fees. Here, he wants interest, which is crazy. And then here, he wants anything else the court wants to toss on top of his fucking pancakes, okay? Here, he's like, I want a trial of my peers because he damn well knows that everybody karaoke's that song. and it's going to work out for him, especially if it's in fucking Tennessee, dude. Fucking nice try, Garth. Respectfully submitted, John Doe by S.R. David Kaufman. So this is interesting because one of the big things in the court in New York is that shit like this needs to be signed by the person. At least it was. I don't know if that's so anymore, but there are some states where they need to sign it. Even if they're going by a John Doe, there needs to be a signature. In this case, not so much. He seems very protective. These are his lawyers. Oh, God. I'm going to go look them up later because what is this shit? I mean, look. He really is playing the victim right now. Like, I've been done wrong. But here's the thing. He definitely allegedly cheated based on the little bit that we do have. We're going to go through that tomorrow. It's 27 fucking pages. I don't have the time. He didn't know, but he kind of knew, didn't he? The injury is, she said that during one of Garth's assaults, it was so painful and brutal that it split her open and she had to go to the hospital. They also claim to have proof of all of this, in addition to some other really horrific shit. Really horrific shit. It's kind of looking good for her, especially with after reading this, because some of the things he said are actually proven lies in her complaint. Like just a little that we have in her complaint. Disproves some of the things in this federal one that Garth preemptively put out to try to stop her. I also have never seen any accusations like this towards him from her or anybody else prior to his federal complaint. So it's kind of wild that the first traces of this we ever saw in the media came from him. And it's all about her defaming him. That kind of doesn't look good either. It's kind of like spreading your own rumor and then getting mad at someone else and calling them the person who started it. It's like, bitch, I never said it till you said it. Kind of wild. All right, let's look at some comments and then I gotta go. But yeah, that was Garth's preempted attempt to stop what he considers a coup, a career coup. I'm going to say this about the victim because I spent this whole time trying desperately not to speak my actual mind and to be fair to Garth because I really do find him really creepy and I do think he does have bodies in a basement or a yard, but allegedly, supposedly, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. She seems like a sweet lady. It's hard to believe based on everything I saw from her social, past, present, that, I mean, just like the basic shit she puts up, like there's maybe one thing that annoyed me out of all of it. And it was the thing where she thinks the election was stolen, which is like, bitch, what? The rest of it though, she seems like a nice chick. She has many businesses. She also has many forms of art, lots of jobs. She doesn't wear glasses, and there's something in the complaint that alleges he threatens to bust on her glasses, and that kind of bothers me because it's like, wait, what? But other than that, like, it just seems really hard to believe. But at the same time, we watched the David Letterman shit. We've seen other shit. You know, people do try to extort people, but I don't see any proof of extortion here. There were no attached receipts on this, but hers has a bunch. So when we get to that, you'll kind of see why it's a little complicated. But in context, if she's telling the truth, holy shit. Holy shit. If it's true, allegedly, supposedly, Garth's a fucking monster. And if it's not true, she's fucking wicked crazy. I have had a hard time trying to like defend this shit because it like being a defense attorney looks real fucking hard. A lot of this was poorly written. Some of it was straight up lies. Garth needs better lawyers, in my opinion. What do you guys think about his response before any accusations came out? It's kind of crazy, right? All right, let's go. AJ's laughing. Auntie Reese says, I never liked Garth, did he? I don't really like him that much either, but he has a couple good songs. Full disclosure, I'm sure Garth does indeed suck, not at all alluding to the contrary. Be that as it may, I recollect Depp versus Heard. Karen, read the whole innocent until exactly. That's exactly what a Leo would say. Good morning, fam. Good morning, Uncle Francis. How are you doing? Are you okay? Uncle Frank. I know Uncle Francis is here. Everybody clean your rooms. How are you doing, hun? Good point, Dan. It is true. Innocent until proven guilty. So I struggled. I tried. Turd's here. We opened up with a turd song. Daniel, I agree with you. That day turned out to be an attempted sleepover. I dropped his ass off at his car and MD when the date was when I lived in Virginia. Your uncle is the same, but starting to hallucinate, so they're going to try to figure out what's happening. Oh, no, Uncle Frank, you're hallucinating? Is it Garth? Do I need to stop talking about him? Yeah, what meds did they give you? Has he been sued similarly prior to this? No, not for shit like this. No, not for stuff like this. He's had a couple of weird lawsuits over weird shit that kind of have nothing to do with this. I mean, they don't. Good morning, Uncle Frank. Good morning. Good morning, Julia. How bad are the hallucinations? Oh, shit. She took you for Sunday tea? Oh, tea. Uncle Frank, but how are you? What's up with these hallucinogens or whatever you're having? Hallucinogen McCabe's. Oh, shit. New character. I'm going to tell Aunt Deb. Hallucinogen McCabe. Oh, nice. Oh, no. It's not nice that she's hallucinating. Uncle Frank, praise you give it. Yeah, let's all thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. I'm no Garth fan, but I believe him, not her. Don't hate me for it. Well, here's the thing. Let's wait until we hear her shit tomorrow, because I think you're going to want to hear it before you say that. And you're going to want to see the receipts, because yikes. If it were hallucinations or like that turd Ferg, I wouldn't mind. I thought I was driving around for about an hour last night in my car, but I was in bed. I keep thinking I have visitors in the room. Are you dreaming? Are you Vanilla Sky dreaming? Dear Hugin, please send. And also, are you dehydrated? Oh, fuck. Hope they're giving you the right IVs. She asked for money after the abuse. Yeah. But also, she had medical bills from the abuse. And she's an independent contractor. And one of the things prior to the abuse that she sought, I believe, was right medical and healthcare. Allegedly, according to the suit, yes, hallucinations, including the Hoon, would be blessings. The others, not blessings. Yeah, not so much. Shit. He does sound like an asshole, or an arsehole, if you will. Why wait so long? Well, it was 2020 when she stopped working for him, right? Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 years. If it did start in July, I mean, it takes people time to come out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see when we read her stuff. I listened to 3 lawyers read it, and they all said she sounds super sus and full of BS. Yep. But also attorneys. A lot of the attorneys on YouTube, to be fair, are defense attorneys. A couple of them are ex-prosecutors, but it's interesting because they go into defense mode. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about defense shit is so no one can accuse me of fucking just like straight up destroying Garth, because I can't stand him. But, we're going to read hers tomorrow, and then we'll see what everyone thinks. That's what I'm wondering too. Wait, what? Sus. That is crazy. I've only experienced the ambient hallucinations. I can't imagine what that's like. I hope it's not scary. Yeah, I hope it's not scary too, dude. I want to know. I'm going to scroll down a little and see this. Laura JMT, the sus can't be ignored, but she doesn't claim that. Murder someone. I didn't murder nobody. Garth, no one asked. Yeah. Garth is just already talking about how he didn't murder someone in advance. That could be why I'm inspired. Holy shit. Good morning, kind of sort of little hers. Jen's right. If there's proof of money exchange and then suit, I don't think that looks good for Jane. They may have had an affair, but that's not abuse. What was the injury? We already talked about that. Crazy Salacious Monday morning chat. Oh my God. If they cheat on their wife with you, they will cheat on you later. Cheaters cheat. Agree, Haktua. Agree. Haktua's got some wisdom, dude. Haktua. Uncle Frank sending healing energy your way. We are the cult of revulsivity. Look in my eyes. When you said Garth before, I thought you said Girth. Maybe I did. Garth Brooks. Does she live in LA or Mississippi? Why did she file in LA? The abuse happened in LA, and I believe it's a two-party state or something, and she has receipts and recordings. But also she was working in LA, and then she moved to Mississippi, and before that she lived in Tennessee. Did Tom Segura know? Oh, I'm sure he knows now. I'm sure. Definitely cheated. Yeah, he definitely cheated. I mean, there's proof. So she has proof he's done. Yep. Burrito, won't you put me on the line? I want to know, girl. Maybe he made her wear magnifying glasses so she could see what she was supposed to do. No, she had sunglasses on her head sometimes, but she didn't wear regular glasses. Glasses, not grasses. If I support Trump, is this a friendly chat? I have heard otherwise. I don't give a fuck if you support Trump, but if you defend him with bullshit, then I'll snap. Like, if what you're saying about him is true and you had the oath and the receipt, fucking fine. Good. Please bring it here. Please show me. But if he's saying that the cows are like farting and killing liberals, or like, you know, any bullshit about any QAnon like conspiracies, if it's some shit like Democrats are killing babies after 9 months, if you're spouting rhetoric at me that's not true, that's what I find annoying. It's not the Trump shit, it's the lies. If you come in here simultaneously trying to tell me Dianne Feinstein was not in the People's Temple cult, same shit pisses me off. She was. There's proof of it. Fight me on it. Other than that, don't give a fuck. Don't care. I don't care who you support. Like, my parents support Trump. I don't care. It's being racist towards like Kamala or like Kamala, sorry. I'm into wrestling, you guys. I'm gonna say Kamala. Or like just talking nonsense to people about like saying, you know, mainly like conspiracy theory. If you're spouting conspiracy theories, I'm gonna get pissed off. You know what I mean? But anyway, also he is a rapist. He lost a case. Like he's a proven rapist. So like, as long as you acknowledge the facts like that are in the court system and don't try to spout the other. In fact, you don't even have to acknowledge any of it. Just don't tell me otherwise when it's true. That's when I get annoyed. That's when I get really annoyed. I don't know either person. Not a fan. But waiting as the documents are sketchy. Waiting as the documents are sketchy to me. Happy Monday. True. I don't believe her, says Hollis. I mean, some people don't. Like, it's a difficult one because the timing. Like, the fact that he filed the federal shit first makes you think that there was discussion prior, which means she's willing to settle. And it's like, if you wanted to open up the door for other women to come out to help them, that's one thing. But if you really are trying to secure that bag because he hurt you and caused you pain and physical injury that led to big ass medical bills, also totally reasonable in my opinion. But if you're doing it to get that bag because you're in a tight spot and you're willing to stretch the truth from affair to sex assault, you're fucking psycho. So I don't really know necessarily until it all comes out, but we are going to see the 27 pages and go through them tomorrow, and then we'll have both sides. 27 versus 6 is a lot. So there are a lot of accusations, but there's also a lot of receipts. Some of them are pretty vague, making it confusing. But I can also see why, because like, I mean, they're very graphic. I'm not even going to say they're not as on point as the ones in the Vince doc, because they're pretty fucked up. All I'm saying is it is a complaint. It's an accusation, and he's innocent until proven guilty. But you see some shit in there that kind of backs up some of the stuff she says. Although, if you look at it, like, is it possible that they're discussing a relationship and not the accusations? Some of it is possible. So that's what makes it tricky. But it is good to hear both sides. And we're going to do that. And we're going to make a strong case for and against both of them. But it's fine to believe her or him. Some people don't believe her. Some people don't believe him. I can see why people would feel both ways. And that's rare. Usually it's like pretty strong on one side. However, there are some things in hers that make me go, oh shit, he fucking did it. In my opinion, allegedly, maybe. Maybe only just feeling strong enough to talk now. True. This could have like caused her a lot of mental anguish. She, I believe, does claim to have been suicidal and shit. If she was institutionalized over this or in a bad spot, like mentally, dude, totally. Like I could see it taking a minute. She requested salary and med benefits. The horror, exactly. Like how dare she, dude? It is good to be here, both sides. The courts were closed during COVID, which slowed the judiciary process down. True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And she did continue to tour with Trish and him for the months after what happened in the complaint. And to like post pictures and stuff. So it's just odd. It's odd to have some of that stuff public while making this complaint too. Daniel doesn't believe anyone. No Venezuelan gangs in Aurora didn't have an opinion until my town entered the debates, but still not voting in protest. That will show them. You are the Venezuelan gang turd. Jesus Christ, gang turd. By the way, is Turd the Bird gonna fucking happen? Also, actually, Hollis, I have a question. Who's going around? It's funny to me that people are like, you can't go to OP's. She hates Trump. Like, that's kind of crazy. Who's saying that, dude? Shit, dude. It's Garth trying to make me boof his guitar. Dude, maybe all you need is a boofing, and then everything will get better. Frank, I'm very concerned. I need you to get better, homie. We're worried about you. Okay, so also his name is Troyle. What the fuck? Kind of a weird fucking name is that? All right. I'm going to... Whatever happened to all the accusations against Marilyn Manson? Are there still any standing? Dude, homegirl, Evan Rachel Wood took him to court for that, right? We can look it up. I don't really know exactly. Oh shit, your Aunt Deb's about to go live at 9 a.m. Oh fuck that whore. That whore is going live. Should we play Moose Flute? Should we summon the whore? Get it here early? Yeah, so Evan Rachel Wood, I don't exactly know where it's going. Hollis MJP says debunked. Did they debunk them? Shit, dude. That was crazy. Like the whole thing, like if what she was saying was true, like that whole music video they did together, first of all, that was a fucking weird choice, those two being together anyway, but like she was young and that was fucked up. I don't know. I wrote 2 songs for Bird, Black Metal Barbie and Black Metal Christmas Barbie. Oh my God, Turd and the Bird, dude. If it was me, I wouldn't want some jerk to ruin my good time job, and I'd likely compartmentalize the trauma and keep posting photos, pretending everything was fine. So I get that. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, if you're in a position of financial distress that's really bad, like, because I've been broke from the casino fucking since that shit happened last week, but I haven't been like in debt where it's like I'm gonna lose where I live and my car and everything in a fucking hot minute. But back when I was in those positions in the past in life, like I stayed at some jobs where I was treated pretty fucking horribly. Not Garth complained horribly, but pretty fucking bad. I worked for one woman who I babysat for, who I, to this day, if I could go back in time and punch her in the face, I would do that because I'm ashamed that I didn't. I'm ashamed that I let her treat me the way she did. She was awful. I could have sued the fuck out of her. She fucking sucked. But at the time, I was like living on $10 a day, having a hard time getting by. Right after having a major surgery from getting my ass beat, all my money was going towards my recovery from like my eye injury and the stabbing. And it's like, I couldn't work. you know, and when I did start to work, this lady took advantage again of my desperation and paid me shit and treated me horribly. And I took it because it was really hard to find a job that was considerate of my situation. That I was working with an eye patch and loud noises made me fucking scream and go into like a fit. So like I get being in a weird place and being willing to put up with behavior against you that is intolerable. You know what I mean? Like that no one should have to put up with. I think the trauma stemming from being in that position is also something that would fuck me up. You know what I mean? She was traumatized by her employer. That, like, in the most brutal way, if it is true, fuck, what a tough position to be in, dude. And I get it too. All right, I knew a lot of them dropped their accusations. Wasn't sure if they all had. I know Evan stuck with it. I don't know about the others. Yes, you accept the sexual innuendos and it gets gross after a while. It does. Especially fucking in comedy, dude. The amount of people who joke about raping you as a female casually. Insane. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, how old, how young. When you're new, you're going to get so many people slinging rape jokes at your direction or directly to you or just making jokes about doing it to you, standing right next to you. It's fucking crazy. I worked at a chicken restaurant, a fast food restaurant in high school where our boss would grope high school girls on the butt. I dipped out. I stole the gravy and took off. Fuck them. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to know your worth and you got to steal that gravy, dude. You feel me? If somebody does you wrong and you try to get that back because they did that wrong thing to you, are you a bad person? If you lie about it, yeah. But if that really happened, fucking good luck, girl. I hope you fucking get it, you know? Anyway, we need to go to your Aunt Deborah's because she's about to do some crazy shit. It says raffle. Ooh. We're going to go to Aunt Deborah's. Thank you guys for all of your thoughts. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my channel. And God bless. You're the best. Let's go fucking to your Aunt Deb's. Let's go to the horse. Let's go to the horse. Let's summon her. How about that? How about that, kids? Let's pull this up. Here we go. We're gonna end on Brother Kenneth. We will explore more of the Garthiness later. And we will try to get through 27 pages tomorrow. Oh my fuck. I don't think I'm going to stream tonight. It's Dad's boyfriend's day off, an evening off. So we're going to hang out with the Hogan. And also watch Monday Night Raw, which I highly recommend. Bad Blood was a weird fucking pay-per-view. I'm still not finished with it because I kind of can't believe the spoilers I already got and how fucking lame they were. But yeah, I'm going to rewatch Bad Blood all together today. And then I'm going to do Monday Night Raw tonight with him. So I'll see you kids probably in the morning or super late tonight. I'm going to go catch some Z's in a little bit after I run some errands and watch Aunt be a whore. Speaking of whores, let's summon her to her position on the couch with us. And we will use Brother Kenneth to do our bidding. Thank you so much for joining me. Garth Brooks, we want to know where the bodies are. Please tell us. Good day to you, kids.
Greetings from Alaska. This is Kinnaid. I'd like to give a short review of my new practice chanter by David Lindsay. Excellent workmanship. Has the larger feel-right holes. Made of striped ebony. Trimmed with moose antler. Play a short tune. Hear how it sounds.